Started recording, yep.
All right, let me make sure I got everything right. This is THC Fantasy Football League, Week 14, Episode 5. Okay. All right, welcome in. This is the Theta High Fantasy Football League Podcast, Episode 5. It is Week 14 of 2023. That's the last week of the regular season. So we have a very special guest this week, two-time champion, Kevin Mohammed. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great, Herman. I'm very glad to be here on episode 5. I never thought I'd make it to this podcast, but I feel like I'm finally somewhere in my life, thanks to you.
We've made it.
I'm close, man. I'm like right on the edge. I'm on this like 3-game winning streak right now. I came back from like 3-7. If I get one more win over Phil, I'm in, I'm pretty sure. And I never thought this would actually happen. This is just like coming back from the darkness.
So we will get to that. This is going to be a bit of a long episode. We're going to do a playoff preview. We're going to talk about all the scenarios. We're going to do our studs and puds. But first, I want to know, how are you doing, man? How is the house? Because last time I talked to you, the house didn't exist.
I'm good. I'm reporting from the new house. I'm in one of the 2 offices because Gracie and I are childless, except for dogs, and probably going to be that way for a bit. You can tell that I've decorated. You can see a bunch of stuff over there that I have not put on the wall yet.
The backs of pictures, yeah.
You can at least see over here that I do have like music stuff set up. So at least I have that going on. So I managed to get entertained.
Oh, cool, man. Are you still getting after it with the drums?
A little bit, not as much as I want to, just because apparently when you grow up and you get one of these corporate jobs that I love, I think if you see this employer, it's great. It's great what we do. But yeah, it turns out when you do that corporate life, it's very hard to find time to keep hitting drums and playing music.
Do you consider it exercise?
Not really. It just doesn't like get to that level. I mean, it's a physical thing. Like if you play drum set for an hour, you'll get a sweat, but it's like a dexterity thing, like with your hands and your feet. It's not like your heart rate is like in the cardio terrain or anything. And it's not like you're going to be sore the next day. I think you get probably more sore playing Wii than playing drum set.
Yeah, I guess you are sitting down. I can remember playing rock band drums. My hip would always like cramp up. I was not built for the drums.
Yeah, plus you just like kind of tense up. I've seen you try to do that, like music.
I'm a tense person. Yeah, I go through yoga phases every now and then to try to even it out. But right now I'm in a tense phase for sure. All right, so you alluded to it earlier. The playoff race is very exciting. It's week 14, meaning it's essentially kind of like a play-in tournament for a lot of the teams. I showed this in the group chat, but I'm gonna go ahead and pull up. Jamie, pull this up. Pull up the playoff picture for us. Where the fuck is this share screen? I can never find it on Google.
Did you say Jamie?
Yeah, you don't watch Rogan?
No, I'm not a Rogan guy. I feel like I'm one of the few. I'm sure he's got smart things to say. Dan's showed me a couple of things here and there, but I don't know. I just stick to sports pods and a couple of politics things.
Stick to sports. All right, here it is. The playoff picture, in the hunt. We got 4 teams locked in, right? Shocker, Dan and Ryan led the league. And
1 and 2.
1 and 2, yeah. And it is rivalry week as well, pseudo rivalry week, because like only like 1 or 2 of us are actually rivals. Really, it's just Greg and Marco. But Ryan and Dan play each other, and I made that their rival because they used to just be water trash, like fighting for the bottom of the league. And now the tables have turned, and they're playing each other for who is like the regular season champ, which I think we actually give out like $100. You won it last year, right? What is the prize?
I don't remember, man. I've kind of like wiped that memory away for some reason.
It's funny how little we remember from the previous year. It's basically like who won, who got Sacco, and nothing else matters. And what did PC do at the draft?
Apparently very good things for you.
Well, we'll see. We'll get to that too. That's a little foreshadowing. But yeah, so we got Dan, Ryan, Greg, Kyle locked in. Then on the bubble, we got me and Sam. And it's pretty simple. Win and you're in. I'm playing Thomas. Sam's playing DMAC. So those are both kind of winnable games. And it's a big deal for Tommy because as you can see, he is in the hunt. And there's 2 other teams there. yourself and Philip Choi, who are actually playing each other. So if either me or Sam lose, really it's just me, because I think you guys would also need to outscore Sam by 45 points. If either of us slip up, the winner of your matchup could jump in. So it's basically, we're probably going to see, if I lose, the winner of your matchup is in. It's between the three of us, I think. How's that make you feel?
Not too bad. I mean, so check the offers report. Have you checked those?
So yeah, we'll get to it now. That was going to be my first stud, is people that play waivers. So you sent out the hilarious picture of Marco with 75 waiver claims in there. So that's already awesome. I love that he's getting after it. I wish it tracks moves, but it doesn't track attempted moves. And I think he would have 100 by the end of the year. So that's number one. Number two is the NFL has bye weeks in week 14, and I need a quarterback. And Greg dropped Jordan Love. I was like, great, this is awesome. I think $17 is plenty. Like, that's a crazy amount for week 14. A quarter of the league doesn't even have that much. I'll be fine. I even went back and bumped it up from like 12, I think. I was like, I'll be great. I woke up, checked my roster, and I'm still sitting there staring at Kyler Murray in my quarterback position. I was like, I wonder what happened. Lo and behold, $25. What the fuck?
That's funny, because I did the same thing. I was like, $10, man. It's Jordan Love. He's not like incredible or anything. But I was like, I have $40 or something in Fab. I'm gonna spend it. Like, this is probably my last week to really spend it and have it matter. I don't think if I even get into the Royale, I don't think I'm really going to cause much of a fuss there. So I was just like, yep, let's just push the chips in, see what happens. I thought I was going to be like $25 bid and then like $1 bid. Like, someone was just going to get an insurance quarterback. I didn't realize you were also in it for real.
No, you honestly, you might have just won your way into the Royale. I mean, we'll know by Sunday or Monday, but that might have been just an epic move. One of those moves that we won't remember next year, but it means so much in this 3-day span. So shout out to you, man. Yeah, that broke my heart this morning or yesterday.
Yeah, a little chest for you.
I like it. I like it. I do. Actually, I don't want to see you get in. I would love to see Choi get in. Poor Choi has been sniffing around. I think he's in the Royale every year. Founding member, founding commissioner that I usurped. It still says like commissioner as Choi if you look in the app.
I've seen it.
And I want that man to win a championship so bad. So somehow I'm rooting for Sam to lose and him to outscore Sam by like 45 points. Or might even, I don't know which of you has more points. I think it's him. But you've got enough championships. I don't think anyone has 3 yet, right? Kyle has 2. You have 2. Kyle might have 3.
Yeah, are you not a 3-timer?
Well, we're not counting myself.
Oh, okay. You're excluded from the league by being the host of this podcast.
I might have 4.
I don't count most of those. That's all asterisk titles. I'll find some reason.
So yeah, so we've got 3 really, really important matchups. Me, Tommy, you, Choi, and Sam, DMAC. Everybody else is just kind of playing for the love of the game this week. But I'm really excited to watch that. It's a good little kind of intro or play-in tournament into the playoffs. So we get actual traditional 4 weeks of playoffs this week. Who are you playing? Oh, your Choi. So yeah, that rivalry doesn't make sense. I wish we could have a little bit more on the line. I know we don't like talking about the other league, but in the other league we do have 5 pretty clear rivalry matchups, and we just finally got it this year that each group has like a thing, a totem or trophy or whatever that's passed back and forth to document the winner each year, which I think is really fun and adds a little extra element to the league. So we need to I don't know, everybody needs to pick one person just to be really rude to and start talking shit to it and start a rivalry.
Yeah, the rivalry I have with Choi feels very weird because I don't think I've ever said like an angry word in his direction ever. I don't know if anyone has, but I am a little frustrated about our matchup earlier in the year. I lost by 4, and I thought I had it in the bag because I think I had like James Cook, and kicker, and they only needed to score like 7 or 8 points, and they basically score like 3 or 4, and I'm like, this is terrible. It was like one of those Monday night games where you just kind of like stare at your phone and it's like, why aren't the numbers moving? The numbers got to move at some point.
Dude, the Bills, if you've been counting on the Bills this year, they've been brutal.
Yeah, I was like looking into preseason. I was like, oh, Stephon Diggs, man, I just want to get on that bus again. I'm not sure if he's actually having a good year. You know where he's at this year?
He's top 10. I think he's 7 because I have some Diggs stock, but it's kind of boom or bust. He's got some 2-3 point games. He's got some like 20-30 point games, but that's not the kind of guy that you want to rely on. He's great. He's getting peppered with targets, but it's just kind of like the Bills in a nutshell this season, where they're just they don't have it together.
It's weird. Did you hear about their coach today?
Oh, dude, what the fuck? 9/11?
That's the worst. Like
the wrong side of 9/11.
I've never heard of anything that weird.
There's no way that's true, right?
I thought it was fake. There's no way he's like, oh, you got to work like the hijackers on the planes, like teamwork, camaraderie. Like what?
Yeah, let's do team building. Like, what do you need to do to take down a tower? Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy.
Like, what did he say after that? He's like, oh, we got a 9/11 the league, guys. 9/11 the league on 3. Like,
we're gonna blow up the other team. Yeah, what the fuck? That's tough. I have a Bills fan in my household, so we watch a lot of Bills games. We're heavily involved, and it's been heartbreaking. Like watching the Jets game was crazy. The Denver game was really horrible. There's been some absolute stinkers this year. The Denver game was the one where they had 12 men on the field, right? Like that's a fireable offense.
Oh, and the 12th guy was the dude who almost died?
Is that true? I saw a meme about that. I don't know if it's actually true, but they were like, I wish you would stay dead.
Man, New York people can be cold.
Oh, man. So back to the rivalry real quick. Off the top of the dome, we got Marco and Greg for sure. I think the Brown matchup, is that too easy? You versus Dan, and then the Jews, Ryan and Kyle. And then we're about to lose one of our Asians. So then the Asians, Choi and Sam, and that leaves me, D-Mac, Tommy, and somebody else. Who am I forgetting? Marco. No, he's with Greg.
Oh, Marco's always good.
Oh, yeah. We have a void. That's why. So new guy. So maybe PC could be my rival, and then D-Mac and Tommy, tall guys.
Tall guy rivalry. Who's tallest?
Yeah, I like it. I'm going to start pushing that. Maybe I'll update the schedule next year for the first time in like 4 seasons.
Yeah, I've been wondering how long we've just been doing the same schedule.
It's been a few years. Yeah, I kind of took a year off. So.
Yeah, I don't like getting matched up with Phil twice a year because he always has like talent on his team. Like looking at it this weekend, he's got CMC, and I'm like, that's never fun to go against.
I feel like he's had CMC like 3 of the last 4 seasons too. Yeah, Tommy's my boogeyman. I can never beat him, even in up and down years. So I do not feel good about this week. Speaking of, let's put a bow on the playoff picture. Right now, I kind of mentioned it. Dan and Greg are already in as virgins. Sam is probably in a 3rd virgin. And then if Phil wins, we have a possible 4 of 6 teams as virgins. So we got a great chance of a new champion, which is my favorite thing. If it can't be me, I want it to be somebody new. So good luck to all you 4 fellas.
It can't be you? Are you like renouncing yourself if you get in?
If it can't be me.
Oh, if it can't be you. Okay.
Of course I want to win. You play to win the game. I think it'd be the greatest comeback story of all time as well with this PC team.
Really? Was the PC team that bad? I really wasn't tracking where you started.
It sucked losing Nick Chubb week 2. So he spent 135 auction dollars on 2 players that are no longer on my team. So that's tough.
Yeah, okay, not good.
One of those wasn't his fault at all, or like my fault. It was a trade, right? So I think we're okay there.
You were trying to get Nick Chubb for years.
I'm a big Chubb guy. Chubb, love me some Chubb. All right, let's do my favorite game. 2 studs and a pud. You're familiar with the rules, I assume?
I didn't really know if there were any rules to this. I mean, it seems like you kind of give out the loose structure of 2 puds or 2 studs, 1 pud, and I was thinking about just coming with 5 puds, but I don't know. I feel like everyone does something different. I like it.
full disclosure, I have 4 studs and 2 puds, so we may or may not go through them all. It's already gonna be a long episode, but let's each do our studs. You go first, and then we'll cycle back through it and hit some puds.
Okay. First stud is easy. This is Rockstar Games. They released the Grand Theft Auto 6 trailer. Everybody loves it. Everybody's excited for a game that's coming out in 2025. This is unbelievable hype. I haven't seen something get like this hyped up in a really long time. So I'm kind of excited to see it. Good for Rockstar. I happen to also buy an Xbox for some reason. Like I finally caught up with where people were, I don't know, 3 years ago. So I finally have like an Xbox Series X, and I've just been playing like 30 hours of Grand Theft Auto 5 over the weekend. And I was like, man, it's great to do virtual violence. And I can't wait for 6. This is awesome.
Were you doing that before the trailer even came out, or did that inspire you to go play 5?
I think it probably incepted me because I think there was a lot of buzz like for the last couple of weeks about like, oh, the trailer's about to come out. Like, I hope the trailer leaks early so I can watch it early. Like, that's going to really change your life. Great. But my wife and I have been talking about like, yeah, let's get an Xbox. But we're irritating patient people that just like waited 6 months for it to go like on a 10% sale. But we finally got it like last week. I literally unboxed it on Tuesday, and then I just started playing Grand Theft Auto, and then this trailer comes out. And I'm like, wow, everything in my life is telling me Grand Theft Auto is where I should spend time.
That's great. Yeah, it's been like a decade, right? Wasn't the last one the Russian dude?
No, dude, this is the one where there's like 3 characters. You go between this like
No, 5.
Oh. No, 5 wasn't the Russian dude. That's the one where you had the 3 characters. Like there's the meth head, the black dude, and then like the older guy.
Oh, shows what I know. As soon as I moved out of room 1 at the fraternity house, I lost access to video games and just knew I would enjoy them too much and could never go back.
So you just like, are you just no more video games in your life?
I quit cold turkey, kind of because I didn't own my own system, but it was by design. Like when like Fortnite was hot in the streets, everybody's playing that, and then I don't know, there's like periodically people, like everyone in my life plays video games, but I just enjoy hunting and do that so much. Like I waste so much time doing that and just watching Barstool content, other stupid shit. But like I have an addictive personality. Like I would love video games so much, and I know that I can't do it because I want to spend that time elsewhere.
Well, good for you. You're touching grass. That's valuable.
Yeah, I mean, I know myself, even though I can't control it. I have to just control it by like setting boundaries. So that's a good one. Yeah, I've seen the hype everywhere. I think the Falcons even came out with a graphic today or yesterday. They got a great social media team that was like GTA. What's next? How many more studs you got?
I only have one more.
Oh, great. Okay.
Do we want to trade off?
No. Rip the next one.
Okay, next one. This counts as a stud. This NBA in-season tournament. Look, I don't think it's like, I don't think the players are thinking like, oh, I got to play this. Like, I really want to win the NBA Cup or whatever they call it. But it has drawn an interest to basketball in a way that basketball never gets in December.
Right.
So, Adam Silver's trying a bunch of stuff. Like, I think this is helping the ratings, and it is helping increase the intensity of basketball, because otherwise this is just like a random week 5 of the NBA season. No one really knows what's going on. No one even knows like who's on what team at this point, if you're like a super casual viewer. So I think it's working. I don't think like it's a dazzling spectacle or anything, but it is definitely improving the NBA as something that actually draws eyes in December. Because I don't think most people even check in with the NBA until like Christmas Day games at most. Then it goes quiet again, and then you kind of look at All-Star and you go like, wow, the All-Star game sucks. And then you wait for that play-in tournament, which is also another good idea. Adam Silver's kind of like the indirect stud behind this, but I don't really want to call him the stud because he also came out with some quote that says, I want to be like, or I think I'm like Henry Kissinger or something, or that's his idol or something. Not a good idol. Not a fan.
What was that? Why was Henry Kissinger trending last week from Adam Silver?
He died.
Oh, okay. But he kind of did some scumbag stuff back in the day, right?
Yeah, he like engaged in a secret war in Laos and Cambodia. Bourdain has some real negative quotes on Henry Kissinger, because I think he did some of his travels down in that part of Asia, and when he visited, he was either Laos or Cambodia, and he was just like, yeah, when you come down here, you're just going to be mad at Henry Kissinger for fucking this place up.
Well, we're not to PUDs yet, so let's go back to the NBA. Give me your thoughts on the court. I've seen the highlights, and it hurts my eyes.
Court sucks.
I can't do
Terrible.
it. Did they do it just to talk about it? Like, because there's no way that's like a positive thing.
I think, okay, so this is one where I think the design's just bad. Like, I think they wanted to make a differentiated court that wasn't like the typical hardwood or the regular home courts, but they went with this like super bright painted thing for most of the arenas, and I hate it. It doesn't really distract me too much from like what's actually happening on the floor, though. So I guess I'm just one of those people that can move past it.
As a hyper casual, I don't really watch NBA honestly until the finals, like until at least March Madness is over. So basically April, college basketball gets me into basketball brain, and then there's basketball. I've turned into a giant hockey fan out here. So now that I have that running in parallel, like clearly right now is football until whatever, February 15th. And then I'll switch over to focus on the other things, which is hockey. Like my Avs are playing right now. I don't know. I'm like basketball curious, but I think, well, this isn't going to even make sense because I clearly never played hockey. But because I never played basketball, I don't know. I don't feel attracted to it as much as other sports.
It's I think for you, it's partly a culture thing. I mean, I don't think basketball is as big in Colorado compared to hockey. What do you think about that?
Who won last year? Titletown, baby.
Yeah, but that's like 1 year. That'll wear off.
We've got 2 cups in 2 years. We got hockey, we got basketball. Stan Kroenke in Ball Arena is buzzing right now. He has the Rams. You know his 4th big team he owns?
No, what is
Arsenal. It? Shout out Kyle. Arsenal's going to win it this year. Stan Kroenke is on a roll. But that's as much as I care about basketball. Like, it was cool. I had a future on the Nugs, 10-1 future. But like, that's as much as I cared. I thought about even going just to like go to an NBA Finals game, but it just felt weird because I think I would rank football, maybe hockey, EPL, and then some combo of NBA, MLB, MLS. Like I don't know. Like it's just like it's like 4th tier sport to me.
I think for me, it's second
behind football.
Yeah, it's just like football, basketball.
I think that's probably the most common answer in the country.
Yeah, and I watch a lot of golf now. I probably watch more golf on like the weekdays because you can just like pull up to the couch. You just hear like a bunch of birds, hear some golf shots being struck, and it's really easy nap viewing.
Do you play?
Yeah.
I think everybody, I guess it's what you do in your 30s, because everybody I know plays now. Like I've talked to a few other guys in the league that I didn't know played golf, and it just kind of seems like everyone is kind of like golf curious now. I guess because that's the only sport we can do without getting injured anymore. But we might have to make golf like an activity at the draft. I think that would be hilarious Sacco punishment for the Sacco to have to caddy for the winner. You know, he carries clubs around and all that stuff.
I like that, especially if the Sacco hasn't actually like done any of his responsibilities. But golf's expensive, man. I mean, there's always that logistics of like, okay, well, you know, do we want to have everyone pay for like premium rounds at like 8 o'clock and then get club rentals and all of that? Because it depends on whether we're flying or driving to the draft. But if we're doing Southeast, golf's cheap down here, man. Golf's super cheap in North Carolina.
We're never drafting in the Southeast again if I have
Daniel the secret. Golf is very cheap around here.
I'm so curious what Dan would do if he wins.
You know he ain't going far.
Yeah, he procrastinate till the week before, but yo, just come to my house.
It's like, oh, we can just camp.
I hope he wins so much. Maybe he just should have Kramer plan the draft. It's only fair. All right, that was good. Those are your 2 studs?
Yeah, those are my studs.
All right. I'm gonna pander a little bit. My first stud is multiple studs. It is our Asian managers from that hail from the continent of Asia, because we've got, let me pull up standings right quick. It is, oh, it's not standing. It's points scored is the important part, which is arguably a bigger deal than standings, right? But the top players, teams for points scored is Samson, Ryan Donnan, Israel counts, Philip Choi, Dan Vasikrin, and then Kevin Mohammed. So 4 of the top 5 are of non-white skin, and we'll throw Ryan in there just because of the Israelis. But yeah, shout out you guys. Seems like there's a clear pattern there. Will doesn't count because he's not going to be here, and he's as white as anybody.
Yeah, I mean, when you rattle off that list, I just feel like it just reinforces my point that fantasy is all luck. That it just so depends so much more on like your overall matchup, because you listed some teams that are still fighting for their lives, you know.
Yeah, you enjoy being in the top 5 in points scored and fighting for your life. Only one of you is going to make playoffs. It's a bummer, and I feel like Choi is in that conversation every single year somehow.
Yeah, fantasy is really about defense. Like if you can figure out how to make your opponent score 60 points, 70 points, that's awesome. I know you counted on that.
Yeah, I'm in big trouble if I lose. I have no points scored. But hey, the only W's is the only thing that matters. What's next? Speaking of my team, I'm gonna go with Dak Prescott, who's a stud. Paul Corson drafted this man. This was my quarterback for a couple weeks, and then I was like, nah, I don't like him. And this man, Ryan Donnan, picked him up. Here, I'm gonna read off Dak's first 5 scores: 6, 19, 14, 14, 4. Okay, and then I dropped him, and since then he's gone 24, 28, 28, 37, 16, 32, 28. He's the number 3 quarterback in the league. I don't even think I would be worrying about this. I wouldn't be mad at you about Jordan Love. My life would be way easier if I had just kept the team Paul had drafted for me. So, fuck me.
Yeah, the Dak Prescott thing is real interesting because remember when like last year, like I think Mike McCarthy, everyone was like, "Oh, this guy sucks. He's fat. He didn't even like actually go study analytics during his 1 year off. He's terrible." And then Kellen Moore is this godchild. He's going to be so smart over in Los Angeles with the Chargers. And now it's like somehow Mike McCarthy looks good. And
No,
Kellen Moore looks
not like physically. He's got the biggest dumb face of all time. I bet on him last week, and watch every time they cut to him, he's like he's got like melty face. It's they call it what's it called? Coordinator face. He should be an offensive coordinator up in the box, not the coach on the sideline. He's got like dumb coordinator face, and just instills zero confidence in his team. But the Cowboys look pretty damn good this year. It's a gigantic game this weekend for the number 1 seed in the NL. The NFC. It's Eagles Cowboys. Big game.
I hope there's some fights. We almost had a fight last weekend. I mean, we might have. I can't remember which game it was. I thought it was in the whatever game Philly was playing, but
Niners. There was definitely some. There was a lot of pre-stuff. Debo was talking a bunch of shit, and then Big Dom. Philly legend, apparently. I love how stereotypical Philly is. Just lead into it, be scumbags. Like I want what they're having. Like Atlanta has none of that.
I feel like it happened so fast where this random dude got ejected. Like, I mean, yeah, the 49er linebacker got ejected, but this random staff dude got ejected. And then within hours, it was just like, that was Big Dom. And it was like, of course that guy's a Big Dom. That makes the most sense of any name ever.
Apparently, he's been around like the Eagles for like 25 years. And so Philly fans knew of him. And I think that's why he kind of blew up so quick. Because they're like, oh, yeah, duh, it's Big Dom. But the rest of the country didn't know who the fuck he was.
Yeah, my bad for not knowing your Big Dom, the one and only.
Yeah, it's just such a Philly storyline. It's incredible. It's incredible. All right, last stud. Just a quick shout out to JB3, Jesse Bates the third, just putting the team on his back. Like we would be last in the division without that guy. He's got like interceptions, pick sixes, fumble recoveries. Like he makes up. It's basically like give one, take one. Like Ritter throws an interception or fumbles on the goal line, and then Jesse Bates goes and gets the ball back. He's like, all right, try again. And it's just incredible to have a good defense for the first time in ever. Like it's really cool. We just have a water trash quarterback.
Yeah. It's nice to have like a distinct identity on a team.
Yeah. Yeah, you only get one, it seems like, but I'd almost rather have defense because we've done the offensive thing for a long time.
But it's been a long while.
Yeah. All right. Who are your puds?
All right. I have an honorable mention pud. Kyle Hott. Look, I don't. I might be representing a clan that I don't really belong to, but your cynicism about the Swift Kelsey romance is disgusting.
Yeah, you love
Like,
love, you believe in love.
Yeah, I've been forced to read, not forced to, but I inadvertently read a bunch of Taylor Swift stuff on Twitter that was all like, oh yeah, she got in touch right after Travis got on the pod. They were dating like before she was in the box with Travis's mom at the game. And I'm like, I don't know, Kyle, you think it's still a money grab? I don't know. Let a girl live a little bit, okay?
Time
But that's
personally kind of leads towards Kyle's theory a little bit.
I don't know. It's a lot of deception.
I choose to believe that it's real. They seem adorable. They're a little bit older in life, maybe it's time to settle down. I loved him just doing the OG shout out on the podcast where he was like, I tried to give her a friendship bracelet. And I think she was even quoted recently talking about that. And like, I don't know. I like it. I like to believe all that stuff until the world tells me it's fake.
Yeah, I just like that, she's somewhat witty in how she like crafts lyrics and whatnot, and Travis just has this like huge golden retriever energy, dumb as nails, like doesn't know what's going on, barely knows how to spell if you've seen any of his old tweets resurfacing.
Oh, those are great. I love the old tweets that were like there was nothing negative, no like racial anything. It was just like, yeah, I'm gonna get Chipotle today. That's just stupid stuff. So you live with a Swiftie? You're all dialed in?
I'm not really dialed in because of her. I think, Twitter's gotten really aggressive about like how it tries to push content in your face.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I've just clicked on her articles too many times or something. And so it's just like, we'll just keep feeding him Swiftie stuff.
That sounds like you're a Swiftie.
I mean, I don't really listen to her songs, but I don't mind her. She puts out okay music. I've heard way worse pop music. Let me put it that way.
I did listen to Midnights. I actually enjoyed Midnights, but there's two fundamental things that make me not love Taylor Swift. One, I don't really listen to lyrics in songs, which is a huge problem because that is her entire thing, is how creative her lyrics are. I'm just more of like, do drugs, listen to beats kind of music enjoyer. The other thing is a lot of it is like sad girl breakup music, and I just can't relate. I haven't gone through a breakup in fucking 20 years or whatever. So two giant reasons to not enjoy it. But I like the whole idea. Like I wanted to go to the concert when they were out here because I wanted to know what $1,000 concert was like, like there's just like there was just some allure that it's like, what is so special about this? But I think part of it is like knowing all the songs and knowing, because the Eras tour, knowing all the different eras, knowing everything about, like, it would have just been lost on me.
Billy Strings was about $100, and that's like the peak. That's all I need. Like Billy Strings for $100, that's like right around the price point I'd be willing to pay for such a great show.
That's cheap, dude. Out here, there's a lot of Billy stands out here. I think it was like a couple $100.
It's a lot.
400. I don't know. Yeah, I've gotten really into. I mean, he's not jam, but kind of maybe. But I used to be such an electric head, but now I'm like, I just saw Goose recently. Holy shit, Goose is good.
Can I use this to give a shout out? Dan Vasikrin and I went down to Charlotte this past weekend. Saw Jay Rudd's band, Swamp Tooth. Yeah. His wife is actually playing bass in that band. It's a bluegrass band, so I don't know why I thought of it. It's kind of related to Billy Strings.
Yeah.
That band is awesome. Jay's playing acoustic guitar in that. He's just solid. Go listen to Swamp Tooth.
Swamp Tooth. Do they tour outside of the Southeast?
I think they're mostly Southeast regional at the moment.
I like it.
But
shout out Jay Rudd. Shout out Swamp Tooth. Cool, man. Yeah, I remember. I think I saw them at the Earl, maybe way back in the day in Decatur.
That must have been a different band, though, right?
Oh, I think you're right. I think Jay
Yeah,
was sitting in with somebody. It was just he was in town. I think you're right.
yeah.
All right, so that was
Oh,
an
this was a
honorable
long
mention.
honorable mention. I need to move
Yeah,
on to the actual PUD.
yeah.
Um,
This is the
the
longest episode of all time.
the PUD is artificial intelligence.
Oh,
This shit's whack. I don't get it. So yeah, okay. There's gonna be a bunch of useful purposes for it. I think it's far more useful to people than like cryptocurrency. Fuck cryptocurrency. I don't
hot
understand that.
take.
But beyond like some utilities that like that will help certain white collar workers, it's gonna flood the internet. It's gonna ruin it. It's so like there's this concept called enshittification, very technical term. It's
That's a new
basically the
one. I haven't
concept
heard
that
it.
there's a good Wired article on this. It's basically the idea that social media sites start highly catered to their users. So like TikTok, it gave them exactly what users wanted. At some point, they go away from a user growth model to a business growth model, where they're really trying to build bonds with sponsors and whatnot, which is healthy. It's how a business is supposed to work. But at some point, usually those companies go public, or there's some inflection point where they start corrupting the user experience. And I think Twitter's basically past that point. It's going downhill fast. And with the invention of this whole AI stuff and the large language models, the thing it's really good at is churning out just reams of text. I think we're not far from like a bunch of governments. Like there's probably a bunch of AI already working during this like Ukraine, Russia, Israel, Gaza conflict, just flooding our lives with just artificial bullshit. So I'm
Like
excited because I think
propaganda.
we might be joining you, Herman, and touching grass soon, because I think the internet's going to get so bad and toxic without some type of like intervention or some type of sanity check on this. It's going to be rough.
Interesting. You're gonna go off the grid.
I don't think I'm gonna have a phone. I just think people aren't going to rely on the internet for information like they used to, unless it's like from very, very solid sources. I think this will come full circle where like, I don't know. That's the optimist in me actually is that people will kind of use this as a way to re-engage with their communities. But probably the deeper cynic of me, so there's like layer one of cynicism that I don't like artificial intelligence. Layer two of this whole diatribe is that people will actually get more insular and just eat and consume like artificially generated content that boosts engagement purely, devoid of anything happening in the real world. Like it's just going to invent stories. Like how these this is a bad example because I obviously don't deny the existence of this event, but like with the Sandy Hook shootings, you're going to have way more like right-wing people just say like, "Oh, all this stuff happening over there, that's all AI stuff." And it's like you can't even argue with it.
Yeah, I think about this a lot because of my parents, my mom specifically being online so much. And we grew up with the internet and we were always taught, like Wikipedia is not a source, don't believe everything you see. And I watch way too much Barstool content, but the main thing that I've taken from that is that everything is a joke, like don't believe anything at face value. There's always like an ulterior motive or something. And so anything I view on Twitter, like you're kind of like, if you're smart, like most of us, in this league, um, you kind of realize that everything online or everything on Twitter, you're kind of entering into like almost like an unspoken agreement that like it's up to the consumer to decide if this is real or not and if it's a joke or whatever. But I think we're not to toot our own horns and suck our own dicks, but we're like one of the top like 1 or 2% of like intellectual people in America that like most people just like take everything at face value, like you're saying, and like the Sandy Hook thing. It's like, oh yeah, they're not real, blah blah blah. Like so, like it is very dangerous for most people. I don't feel that way just because I feel like I can look at it and be like, that's clearly fake, or even think more thoughtfully about it. But so I don't want to go live in the woods and get off the internet, but it is a huge bummer for society as a whole because like you're saying, I don't think we can stop this. I think the snowball's rolling down the hill and it's going to be a problem.
So many businesses are bought into it. Like, I mean, I work in semiconductors. basically all of us stare at NVIDIA and we're like, why can't we be like NVIDIA? They sell the AI chips that a lot of these companies use for the processing. And I mean, a lot of companies are basically saying like, we want to figure out how to work with NVIDIA or make this stuff ourselves. So
Wow.
there's a whole business motivation to kind of keep the AI thing growing. And the government's not going to be fast enough to do something smart or
That's
anything.
for sure. They're definitely too slow, especially like with this technology and everything. This is bumming me out. I think I might just skip my 2 puds because it was basically just gonna be me bitching about things. I'll rip them real quick. Bobby Slovic, you know who that is? Bobby Slowick, the offensive coordinator of the Houston
Guy,
Texans.
right?
Yeah. He had Tank Dell in there on the 1 yard line on goal line, interior blocking. Now he's out for the season. Fuck me. So I'm gonna lose this week. Congrats to whoever wins your matchup. Y'all are gonna make it in the playoffs. Shout out Bobby Slowick. Fuck that guy. The other one, and this one's going to be a little pointed. I don't even know if I should say it, but it just bothers me because something Sam said in the group chat this week about wanting to try to hide players because he, again, tried to pick up Taysom Hill. But another PUD is people who make up rules that are difficult to enforce and then quit the league. So I'll leave y'all with that one.
Well, that was very pointed.
See ya.
See you.
That was fun, dude. That was good.
Good. I didn't mean to bum you out. I just was like talking to a bunch of people